Okay, now we're going to try another problem that also has the joint ownership with undivided interest, and again with a different royalty interest. So like you said, it's starting to look like a division order pay sheet. But let's just read this together, and we'll start with problem 2. Tracy, Liz, Jenna, and Grizz. So we've got 4 lessors. Each own an equal undivided interest, so it's equal among the 4 of them, in 80 acres. Each signs a separate lease with Rocky Drilling. Tracy leases for 1/8, Liz leases for a 3/16, Jenna leases for a 1/8, and Grizz also leases for a 3/16. So we know that the lessor number 1 we're just going to put as Tracy. Then Liz is number 2. And then Jenna is number 3. And then Grizz is number 4. So let's look at their different royalty interests. So Tracy leases for a 1/8 royalty. So we're going to put a 0.125 in his there. And then Liz leases for a 3/16 or a 0.1875. And then Jenna leases for a 1/8, so she's also got the 0.125. And then last but not least, Grizz leases for a 3/16 royalty or 0.1875. So what then is their mineral interest is there's 4 of them, and they own an equal undivided interest. So their interest is going to be 25% each. So we can do this the long way. And this kind of works because 2 of them have the exact same interest. So I'm only going to have to do this twice. So we've got Tracy with a 1/8 or 0.125 interest times a 0.25 mineral interest, meaning he only owns 25%, and his interest is going to be the 0.03125. Now, Jenna also leased for 1/8, so I'm going to go ahead and fill hers in. Exact same math. Now, Liz, on the other hand, and Grizz leased for a 3/16. So if we look at that, all we're doing is dividing the 3 by the 16th times the 0.25 interest. And that gets us this 0.046875. 0.046875. And that's the net revenue interest of each of these folks. Now, let's look at that Excel spreadsheet. And so what we're doing is we're plugging in the royalty interest for Tracy is a 1/8 royalty or 0.125. And we know all of their mineral interests are 0.25, so I'll go ahead and fill those in. And then the mineral interest for Liz is going to be, is going to be a 3/16, so 0.1875. And then again for Jenna, it's going to be a 0.125. And then for Grizz, it's going to be a 0.1875. Now on a spreadsheet, you'd have another column that has the interest owner's name. So we'd have that interest owner's name here, and then we'd have Tracy, Liz, Jenna, and Grizz. Okay, so now we can plug in the formula, which is equal, and again we're going back to the royalty interest, and we're multiplying that, and I'm just using my arrow keys, we're multiplying that times the mineral interest, times the mineral interest, and that's going to get us that 0.03125. Again, I'm going to scroll down, and now you see it's starting to look like a division order pay sheet. So that's problem number 2. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these joint ownership and we're going to put it in an undivided interest, and then we're going to add in the pooling calculation. Remember, that was the tract acres over the unit acres. So let's take a look at that.